Good morning, everyone. I'm Ms. Samara Imran Malik, and today we are diving into a topic that's not only the part of your science curriculum, but also something you experience in your daily life. These are pathogens and communicable diseases. Similar, in a very simple way, pathogens are the organisms, tiny organisms, which are very harmful for you. And communicable diseases is the type of disease which can be transferred from one person to another. Now, before we begin, I just want to think about this. Have you ever wondered how something invisible, something you can't see, touch, or smell, can make you feel so sick that you miss your school? You have to stay in your bed and need some sort of medicine. That something is often a pathogen. Pathogen, I already have told you, these are harmful microorganisms. These are responsible for many of the illnesses we encounter. Out of these illnesses, some are very mild, like common cold or flu, while others can be severe, like malaria or measles. In this lecture, we will explore how these pathogens work, how they spread, and how they affect both humans and plants. We will also look at the real examples and understand the science behind them. So let's begin with a relatable scenario. I'm just going to visualize something. You just have to imagine that you are sitting in the class and the student next to you is coughing and sneezing all day. You feel fine at that time, but 2 days later, you are down with a cold. Your nose is blocked, your throat hurts, and you are sneezing non-stop. What happened? How did you go from healthy to sick in just 48 hours? This is a classic example of how communicable diseases spread. The student had a virus, most likely the common cold virus. The student that was continuously sneezing and coughing all the day. That student must have some sort of virus, most likely it's of like cold or flu, and through droplets when he was coughing or sneezing and not covering his mouth. So through his droplets, which are releasing while he was coughing and sneezing, the virus entered your body. These droplets can travel through the air and can also land on the surfaces of your like copies, books, chair handles, or even be inhaled directly, or you can even inhale those pathogens directly into your body. This is how pathogens, these infectious agents, move from one person to another. And when they do, they cause communicable diseases, which are the diseases that can be passed from one person to another. So, what are some other examples of communicable diseases? You can think about it. Communicable diseases like which can be spread from one person to another. The one example that we already have discussed right now, that is common cold or flu. It can be food poisoning, chicken pox, etc., measles, and so on. And each of these is caused by different type of pathogens. Not all these diseases are caused by a single type of pathogens. We will discuss in detail that which type of these pathogens are basically, and that's what we are going to explore next. Communicable diseases. Communicable diseases, basically students, are the illnesses that spread from one organism to another, and they are caused by pathogens. This is a specific definition for communicable disease, you can say. And these pathogens are the microorganisms like viruses, bacteria, fungi, and protists. Let's break them down separately, like what is virus. Virus might spread through air, when someone sneezes, like I have given you the example right now, a minute before, like a cold virus. So it was spreading in your class when he or she was sneezing over there by not covering his mouth. So the next is like pathogen, which we will discuss, is bacteria. So it can contaminate food or water. It has ability. बैक्टीरिया हैज़ एबिलिटी टू कॉन्टेमिनेट योर फूड और वाटर, आपका खाने पीने की चीज़ों को कॉन्टेमिनेट करके उसमें रेप्लिकेशन स्टार्ट करके आपकी बॉडी में उनके थ्रू पहुँचते हैं, एंड देन दे आर एबल टू रेप्लिकेट ओवर देयर, they are able to reproduce in your body. The next is fungi that can infect your skin, and the basic or very common example is like fungal infection. And protists are carried by some sort of insects, like mosquito is able to produce, it is able to infect the people like malaria, with malaria. Why is this important? Because understanding why is this important to understand how diseases are spread from one person to another and how we can prevent, because it helps us to make smart choices, like we should have to wash our hands, and we have to cook our food properly, and avoiding contact with infected individuals as well. So first of all, we are just moving towards the next we will cover in today's lecture. So the first one is we will identify the key structure and function of viruses, bacteria, protists, and fungi. The next one thing we will explain how these pathogens spread diseases in humans and plants. And the last one, we will name specific examples of communicable diseases caused by each type of these organisms. This isn't just about memorizing facts, it's about understanding how the world around us works. And every time you get sick, every time a plant in your garden wilts, there's a biological story behind it. And today we will learn to read that story. So let's begin by meeting the four main types of pathogens. So the first one is bacteria. The first one is bacteria. Like pathogens are given over there, and bacteria, the first one is bacteria. Bacteria are single-celled organisms without a nucleus. Some are helpful, but others can cause diseases. Second is viruses. These are even smaller than bacteria and can only replicate inside a host cell. We will discuss all these points in detail. These are just the basic introduction of these pathogens. Third one is fungi. These include yeasts, molds, and mushrooms. Some cause skin infections. Other can cause, like in plants, they damage their leaves and different parts of the plant. Protists, these are the diverse organisms that don't fit into other categories. Some are harmless, but others, like the ones that can cause malaria, are deadly, are very dangerous for us. Each pathogen has its own way of invading the body and causing illnesses. Some float through the air, others hide in the food, and some hitch a ride on insects. Like float through the air, like we have discussed the example of common cold or flu. Others, the next thing I have just told you, hiding in the food, like bacteria, which are able to contaminate our food and water. And some hitch a ride on insects, like plasmodium, which is present in the mosquito's saliva, which is injected in the body of the humans to get infected by malaria. So these are some things. And the diseases caused by these pathogens are called communicable diseases because they can pass from one organism to another. And now let's explore how these pathogens actually spread. Pathogens use three main methods to spread. Number one is like direct contact, then indirect contact, then the last one is vectors. Direct contact. This involves physical interaction, like touching infected skin or bodily fluid. For example, athlete's foot, or the blood-borne viruses, athlete foots, that is a fungus which attacks on the wetty areas of the foot, which is just be congested, and you are wearing the shoes all of the time, and it is also wetty over there, and it has, these conditions are very good and suitable conditions to grow fungal infection over there. Next is indirect contact. So, in indirect contact, pathogens are transmitted by means of contaminated surfaces like food, soil, or air, which is contaminated, and there are most possibility to catch some sort of microorganisms into our body, and we are just going to be ill by that kind of diseases which are caused by those microorganisms. And the last way is vectors. Now, vectors are the organisms like mitochondria. Vectors are the organisms like mosquitoes, like ticks, like mice, and that carry pathogens from one host to another, and it acts as a carrier which carry the disease from one person to another. Like malaria is a classic example that is spread by mosquito bites. And let's pause and think. Which method do you think is most common in schools? Direct contact, indirect contact, or vectors? What do you think? According to you, why or what is the which of these methods is very common in schools? Yes, indirect contact. That's why hygiene is so important. Each method of transmission has its own risks and prevention strategies. Wearing masks, washing your hands, using insect repellent, all these are the ways to stop pathogens from spreading. Now that we understand how pathogens move, let's take a closer look at each type. So our first type is